Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jamie and I am the Canton Reader. We are gonna discuss a very interesting topic today. This topic is books that my friends loved, but I wasn't a fan. So a lot of these aren't, like, I didn't typically rate a lot of these bad, but some are DNFs, some are 2 stars, some are 3 stars. Now, the 3 stars are more of I like the writing, but the story I just didn't get, or there's just certain things I did not like about said story. Get my notes out because a lot of these I actually do not have. I had them either on my Kindle, or I got them from the library, or I had an audiobook, because I think I do have one audiobook on here. And also, can I just say, we turned on our furnace for the first time today and I'm absolutely loving it. Fall and winter time are both me and my husband's absolute favorite seasons of the year for many different reasons. But I love the first day when you can just turn on your furnace. I'm weird like that. Anyway, getting into the list. The first one I actually did a video on, and that is Can't Help Falling by Courtney Walsh. This is the 3rd book in the Sweater Weather series, and the main reason I wasn't a fan was because of the female main character, the Heronian, whatever you want to call her. Emmy was a little too focused on like romance tropes, romance books, like way too many romance references. Also, I didn't buy the romance because, quite frankly, I think his name was Owen, was just, he felt too much of like a brother to her. Also, I kind of wish there was more anger from Emmy because, I mean, the guy ghosted her for 8 years, but hey, whatever. Moving on, Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. I kind of forgot I had read this book, and I read it like 2 or 3 months ago. It's bad. Like, I was going through all my books, doing some research on like books that I did not like but are popular, or my friends really liked them. This one, I was like, oh, I forgot I read that. I did I rate this 2? I rated it 2 stars. Also, this book I think is one of the TikTok hype books, but I'm not fully sure. You might hear my son in the background. I'm truly sorry. But yeah, like I said, I forgot that I read this book, and I went back and read my review. I was pretty much bored. I didn't care about the story or anything like that. The main reason I read this was because I have a challenge of hitting all 50 states, and this was Vermont, so I had to finish it. Oh, please, please don't hate me with this one, but this is If I Run by Terry Blackstock. I did rate this 3 stars, please don't hate me for it, but I can't even tell you the main character's name, let alone what really happened all that much in this book. It looks like that's part of my hair. Sorry, got distracted. But yeah, I can't tell you really what this is about. And I think, if I remember correctly, it could be something totally different, but this ended on a cliffhanger, and I have no gumption to go and get the 2nd book from my library and read it. So please don't hate me. The next one is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I rated this 2 stars. Many of you guys, if you talk to me on Instagram, or if you know me on Goodreads, or just in general, I used to have a spice addiction before I came to Christ. This book I did not realize had an open door scene, and so that was a little bit triggering for me, and I had to really try and skim through it to make sure I didn't read anything that would be harmful to me. Also, I think that's supposed to be like a young adult book, so why is there an open scene in a young adult book? But if it's not a young adult book, please correct me in the comments. But if it is, let me know in the comments, just in case. So yeah, also, I felt like one character was what I call a token gay character. What I mean by this is that they are made gay to be inclusive, but the whole relationship adds nothing to the plot line. Like, the relationship could have been between a sister, a brother, or it could have been a husband. Totally gender neutral and not tell us, and I don't think the story would have changed any which way. So I felt like didn't add to the story whatsoever. That might be different in the second book, but I'm not going to read the second book because I have no gumption to read the second book. I also did not like the whole gods in this. Really, yeah, the world building wasn't all that great either. I did really like the typewriters, though. I really loved that whole concept of them being able to talk to each other through the typewriters. Absolutely loved that. That was probably the only thing that I loved about that. But other than that, this is another very, very popular book between my friends. So again, please don't hate me. But Romanov by Nadine Brandis. I like this until, well, there's certain things, like it was going to be a 3-star at the most, until the very, very important scene of the Romanovs and what happened to them. Until that scene, I absolutely, yeah, I got mad at the book. I got mad at the way the story ended. I really don't like the ending. It tanked the whole book for me. Also, I wasn't a big fan of the magic system. What are you doing? Hi. Hi. Say hi. Okay. The next book is Shattered Rose by Tammy L. Gray. This, I'm kind of collecting all of Tammy L. Gray's writings in this, in having her pretty much written off as an author that's not for me. Mostly because, as I said, I had a spice addiction, and she toes that line. She doesn't cross it, but she toes that line. Also, in Shattered Rose, I wasn't quite convinced of Avery coming to Christ. I wish there was a little more build up to her coming to Christ. I don't know. I just wish, also, like, the guy she ends up dating, I can't remember his name right off the bat, but he was Christian, and it takes them a while for him to, like, sit her down and explain that he's Christian and that he believes in Jesus, and then, like, basically, you know, minister to her. So I didn't like that either, because, like, that should have been one of the first conversations they had, was him being a Christian and him ministering to her and sharing the gospel. So I wasn't a big fan. Next, The Selection by Kira Cass. How do I explain Aspen. If you've read The Selection, Aspen. I do not like him. I do not believe the whole romance between him and what's her name, America. Um, yeah, I just wasn't a fan of the love triangle in this. I felt like Aspen was written in to have a love triangle. I don't know. I could be wrong on that, but I just didn't like him. He ruined the book for me. Next, another book that I'm gonna ask you not to hate me for, but Stay With Me by Becky Wade. I have read Becky Wade. I want to say 3 or 4 of her books. The 2 books that I read before I came to Christ, I absolutely loved. After I came to Christ, 2 years into my walk with God, read another Becky Wade book, and it just... Actually, no. I've read Becky Wade this year, so 4 years into my walk with Christ. And I've, again, read Becky Wade. And the 2 books that I read this year, I absolutely did not like. I DNF'd one, actually. Or did I DNF both? I DNF'd both. Okay, because the other one's on here too, and it's going to be another one that I'm asking, really do not hate me. But with Stay With Me, the female character has an opioid addiction. Her recovery or her withdrawals, they're not believable. Also, I really don't believe she just got over it as fast as she did. I do know some people who have recovered amazingly, but it was a very tough process. It was a very long process, and I don't think the addiction was written well. I don't believe it. Also, her not checking into a clinic was very, very dangerous, and it can lead to dangerous thinking because if you've ever known anyone to go through withdrawals, they need someone to be there for them because it could end up deadly. So this whole thing really put a bad taste in my mouth. The other thing, the female main character is supposed to be like a Bible study author. I truly did not believe that. I don't remember once her picking up her Bible and being in God's Word at all throughout this, even after her recovery. All I remember is her being constantly on social media. And I'm like, is Jesus her God or is it her phone? So, big problems with her. Becky Wade book I DNF'd was My Stubborn Heart. There's literally a quote that says, "Hey, do you want to see a skinny girl doing jumping jacks?" And then she goes on to say how she looks like a praying mantis when she does that. There was way too much talk and focus on the body of men in this book that made me uncomfortable. Like, really, really uncomfortable. Also, there's a moment where she's sitting with her grandma. Is it her grandma? It's a bunch of older women. And they're talking about her exes. And the one person says, "Don't ever date people with such and such name. They're never good." And that just really left a bad taste in my mouth. I think Becky Wade's just not going to be for me. The next one is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. Shakespeare and Pretentious. Wow, pretentious. Enough said. We'll leave it at that. Next one, Five Survive by Holly Jackson I DNF'd this in the third chapter. That writing was just not up. Yeah. Moving on. Next one, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This one was better. I actually finished this one, but what was that romance? Like, that hit at the very, very end. I'm like, wait, what? Also, what happens to her dog? Unforgivable. And, yeah, that's enough of that one. So the next one is After She Falls. This was my audiobook. So excuse you. Hi, Oakley. Wow, you can't even see her. Say hi, Oakley. Okay. Next. Oh, wait. I didn't even... Stop. You distracted me. After She Falls was really uncomfortable for me to listen to. There wasn't even me putting this on a faster pace. I just couldn't listen to it. The first chapter alone, she comes home to her husband trying to unalive her dog, and again, unforgivable. I gotta resituate. Yeah. There's also with the male main character, when he's on a date with a girl, he's like really thinking about hooking up with her. I think they try to hook up in a bathroom, but then he sees the female main character and like totally forgets about his date. And so yeah, it's just uncomfortable. The next two books are classics. The first book is Don Quixote by Cervantes. Is that how you say his name? Anyway, I know some of the story of Don Quixote, like where he goes and attacks the windmills. And he has like a really amazing friend who he thinks is his squire, I think. Yes, his squire is Sancho Panza. Anyway, I may give this another go, because I DNF'd it. I may just get an audiobook of it, and maybe that will help me get past the parts that's hard for me to listen to. But I see so many friends raving about Don Quixote, and I just couldn't get into it. So as of right now, this is a soft DNF. Again, maybe an audiobook will help. An audiobook will not help this next book. This is the final book and the last classic, Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. Her sister, Jane, who wrote Jane Eyre, almost got on here. I think her name's Charlotte. But, I don't know. There's parts that I liked about Jane Eyre that I feel like just, it didn't need to make this list. But Wuthering Heights, some of y'all lied to me about this. Like, seriously? What? I expected an epic love triangle. Instead, I got a whiny brat who's stuck in an adult body mourning over his lost love. So yeah. I don't think I have anything else to say about Wuthering Heights. But do you guys like any of these books? If you do, let me know why you like them in the comments. I would love to hear your opinion. If you also, like me, wasn't the hugest fan of these books, let me know down in the comments. And I will see you guys later, okay? Bye!